If you're in the market for an electric car these days, there is more than plenty of choice. But if you're in the market for an electric pickup truck, that choice becomes quite small. Of course, there's the Rivians and all kinds of exotic stuff, but if you want something more affordable, this is an interesting offering from KGM, which stands for Korean Genius in Motion. And if you follow this channel and you saw my report from the Brussels Auto Show, I was on the KGM stand and I was like, what's this brand? I've never heard of it. Well, some of you in the comments didn't like that and said that I shouldn't be a car reporter if I don't even know what KGM is. So I looked it up, and this used to be SsangYong. It's been taken over by a big industrial conglomerate, and it now makes cars like this. This is the Musso, which stands for Rhino in Korean. And it is a pickup truck in any sense of the word. It has a big bed in the back, it has plenty of space in the middle, and it is fully electric. So in this video, we're going to have a look at what's what, if this is a good offering to begin with, if it's worth the money, and for who this actually is. Now, a little walk around the car starts here at the front, and I have to say I quite like this angle. The light bar is really cool, and overall you can't really tell that it's a pickup truck from this angle. It could just be a big SUV, which it is in many ways actually. But I think it looks quite good here on the front. The headlights are down there, and the grille is open for some cooling of some battery and air conditioning units and so on. And overall, I think it is a good looking car from this angle, and especially when we walk around, the side profile I quite like. You can really tell that it is a big car, but it's not so over the top crazy like most American pickups are. It sort of looks like an SUV where they chopped the back off and made it into a truck bed over there. So, you know, all around I think the design works really well. Now, a few things to note. First of all, we have 17-inch wheels here, which is quite small. I think it can use bigger tires if you want, but it does mean that there is quite a lot of tire here, which aids to the comfort on the inside while driving. There's also some things you can have some questions about, like these tie-down points here. I'm not really sure what that is for. Maybe if you have something on the roof, but I don't know how sturdy this actually is. And the same goes for this hand grip here on the back. This is also, I'm not really sure how much load this can take. But you do get some nice cues that this is a utilitarian vehicle that way. Also, like here on the back, for example, you can step on this to get into that truck bed. Here on the back, I think it looks quite nice as well. Not so crazy over the top, huge like most American pickups are. So that is nice, and it's still a big car. I mean, don't get me wrong, but overall, I quite like the shape and the design here, especially in this black. Here on the side, by the way, you can see the Rhino badge. You can also see that on the inside, because Musso means Rhino. Now, walking around the car like this, you get some cues on what this car is really for. For example, the ground clearance is not that great, which shows you that this is certainly a utilitarian car, because, you know, cargo bay, but not a full-on hardcore sand dune off-road vehicle. And I think that's good, because, you know, this car is certainly utilitarian, but not in a way that you're going to conquer mountains with this. This is for on a farm or in a builder's yard maybe, or for, you know, some soft off-roading, because you still have four-wheel drive and you still have a lot of loading capacity and so on. So that is really what it's for, not to conquer any kind of terrain. Of course, it also doesn't help that this one is on summer tires. I'm sure if you put some, you know, crazy off-road tires on it in this 17-inch size, you know, you still have four-wheel drive and, you know, you can do all those things. But it also lacks a lot of off-road toys on the inside, like diff locks and those kind of things, for example. Obviously, we got to do a little tour through the cockpit of this Musso, and I have to say that I didn't have any expectations going in, but driving this car for a week now, it's been quite a pleasant experience. The cockpit is a good place to be. It's a good place of business. You know, it's a big vehicle that you want to control, and it's a nice place to be to do so. There's a few things that I'm not too sure about, but we'll get to that. When we start here on the left, we have good, nice button control for the windows, for locking everything, and to control the mirrors. Very nice. All the things in here, by the way, are buttons, so no touchy swipey nonsense. And I suspect that is partly so you can operate it with gloves on, because in the end this is a work vehicle. So that's good. So the steering wheel buttons and everything, it's all operatable with gloves on. Great. The materials are interesting too, because up here it is sort of a rubberized, not entirely hard, but also not entirely soft material. Further down, it becomes a sort of suede-like material that we also have on the center armrest here. And then on the dashboard, you have a bit of wood and some kind of fake carbon, which is glossy but does not attract too many fingerprints. So that's good. What's not good is that the piano black inlays on the doors, also on the passenger side, do attract a lot of fingerprints. So that's not optimal. But other than that, they might be a lot of materials, but it all comes together quite nicely in various shades of gray in this interior. So that's okay. The steering wheel is not okay. It's a six-sided square with rounded edges, which is the wrong shape. I prefer a normal circle, or at least something that resembles a circle. This is a bit too cornery when you go through roundabouts and such, when you want to have the steering wheel slide through your hands. Not ideal. So maybe that can be done better in a next generation. But it is functional with all the buttons. We got everything from phone to cruise control to controlling the displays and everything that you might want, so that's good. We also have a favorite button here on the bottom left and an auto hold button on the bottom right. These look like rotary dials, but they're not, so they only have one function that you can press. The auto hold, personally for me, I don't need that on my steering wheel, but okay. And the favorite button, you can map that to something on the screen. Behind the steering wheel, we got some flippers for the regen braking. Not really necessary as far as I'm concerned, because I'm not gonna sort of flipper through my regen modes as the situations change. Personally, I prefer to have it in completely off mode, where I can roll the car and slow down with the brakes when I need to. Other people prefer to have the regen on, that's fine too. But flippering between modes, it's not for me. Behind that, we have some normal stalks for your indicators and your lights on the left, wipers on the right. Nice, that's how I like it. And we have a sensor bubble here on the steering column that is hypersensitive. Mainly your drowsiness sensor and so on are in there, and most modern cars have that these days. But these are very sensitive. You know, as soon as you look in your mirror for a half a millisecond too long, it starts blaring, and blaring really it does. So that is super annoying and something that you always have to turn off right away when you start driving in the central screen. And of course something you have to turn off every time you turn the car on. So that is a bit annoying, to be honest, but it is what it is. Through the screen, the driver's display is everything you expect from a modern driver's display, so you can put different things on there, from your maps to your range to your cruise control, your radio, anything you want really. So that's nice, it's clear, it works well, all is good there. What's not so good is the color of the car on the screen is the wrong color, and it goes for the central screen as well. Both screens are housed in this one unit, so that looks kind of nice. Reminds me a bit of Kia and Hyundai, but it's well done. And the central screen is also, it's easy to read, it's clear both during the day and at night, and has everything that you want in there. What it doesn't have though is speed. If I click through a few things here, you can see that it takes a good amount of time before pages load, and that is just too slow. It's 2026, we need better chips in these kind of systems. It is to the point where you think you've mispressed and keep tapping until it refreshes the page. It's that slow. So that's not acceptable, that needs to be faster. But once you do get to where you need to be, it all eventually works. And it's fine. It's nothing crazy, it's not a Tesla navigation system or anything, but it's fine, it does everything you want to do. Below the screen we have some ventilation that is manually operated, great, but it's only air direction. Anything airflow wise or temperature wise you got to do in this screen here. So, you know, that is what it is, but it is one page where you have everything from your seat heating to your air conditioning and everything in between. So, you know, it's not too bad, and it is really nice that you can change the air direction manually, so that's good. Underneath the ventilation, we start with the center console, which is not the most ergonomically designed console I've ever seen, to be honest. The bin here underneath this floating bit is basically inaccessible without bending your wrist out of shape. So that's not handy. And this whole floating thing is, you know, in the same glossy carbon thingy as on the door. Doesn't look too good. The cup holders are too wide and a bit floppy. So that needs a little bit of refinement. There is this suede armrest with some storage underneath, so that's fine. And there's also a wireless charger in there, so that's also okay, as well as your drive selector. But it's not really functional, and it also doesn't really contribute anything to storage space or anything in a nice way, because this is always blocking the bin underneath. There are some USBs here and some 12 volts, so that's good. And you have a little shelf here for, I suppose, if you want something charging there. So all around, you can make it work, obviously, but I've seen better designs, let's put it that way. What is well designed is the seats. Those are nice. They have the Rhino logo here on the headrest and they are comfortable. I fit in them. I am comfortable here for longer journeys and there's enough adjustability electrically to find a good position. So you can sit here and take proper control over your car, which is nice because it's a big vehicle and you want to be comfortable like that. So that's good. And I'd say all round, that is the theme of this cabin. It's pretty good. It's nice. It's a good place to be and it's a good place to get to work and to get to grips with your vehicle. So that's nice. Thanks to the little panoramic roof, we also have a lot of light coming in, which is also important, obviously, because you want to maneuver a vehicle like this in a confident way, and having a good view out and having a lot of light coming in is always very important there. Then the business end of this pickup truck. The reason you buy this one is of course the pickup bed. And this is everything you want. It has tie down points everywhere all the way around, so that's great. It has a hard plastic bottom. It has a cover that you can also buy as an accessory to close this all off. So that is everything that you want. We have about 900 liters of capacity here with the cover on it and about 500 kilos in total weight capacity. So that's great. And all round, this is all you want from a pickup bed. It's not an extended bed though. I can't lay flat here because it's not that long, because we have, of course, a second seating row on the inside. It is not completely flat because you can see the wheel arches down here. But at least they've been so smart to make the top of them flat so you can load things on top of it. I don't know how durable this all is. It's hard to judge. I haven't, moved any tree trunks with this or anything. But I can imagine that this is durable material, although time will have to tell. And also things like these plastic grips here, I'm not entirely sure about how durable that will be in the long run. But in general, all the fundamentals are here, and this is of course exactly why you want this car. Now, in several of my recent videos, I've shown you how a car fits in a normal parking bay, and I want to do the same with this Musso because it is a big vehicle, and to give you a sense of scale, I think it works this way. So we are at the same outside parking area in my neighborhood as we always are, and you can see that the Musso is parked here basically with its nose against the front line of the parking bay. No issues there, but if we walk to the back, you can see that the tire and the wheel is in the parking spot, but the rear is hanging over the edge quite a bit. Now, in theory, you can still park here, no problem, but you're certainly not going to make any friends like this. And if the car behind you is also slightly bigger, then that will be an issue. Now, width-wise, you can see there is some room here on the driver's side and also a little bit on the passenger side, but not that much. And if we open the door here, put it on the first setting, you can clearly see that if there was a car parked here close to the line, then yeah, that would not be possible. And then getting out becomes a bit of a problem. And of course the same is true for the passenger side. So yeah, this Musso is a big vehicle, mainly lengthwise. It really hangs out over the edge back there. So that also shows that this is not really the vehicle that you should pick to do the school run or pick up some groceries, because you're going to have trouble in underground parkings or any parking lot for that matter to fit this in a normal bay without getting people to key your car. Of course, we're going to take this KGM Musso for a little drive, but before we do, you notice that we're stationary. We have to turn off the driving aids, and in particular the driver monitoring aids, because they are quite aggressive, to put it mildly, in this car. If you look out the window or your blind spot or something, it already starts flashing and beeping at you like there is no tomorrow. So to do so, obviously you can turn it all off. We can swipe down on the screen, turn off the speed warning to begin with, and the drowsiness sensor. That's good too. Then we have to go to apps, vehicle settings. Now you can turn the lane keep assist off on the steering wheel, but you can also turn it off here in driving assistance. Then lane safety, turn this one off. So that's one. Then we go back to, and we go to driver monitoring system. That is currently on, and we can switch that off. There's also specifics like eye closure monitoring, yawn monitoring, phone call monitoring, and smoking monitoring. So all those things you can individually turn on and off, but those don't reset when you turn the car on and off. The distraction monitoring does. So with all those things off, we can now actually start driving in comfort. So we start driving here in a normal residential area, and of course this is the space where this car does not feel at home. It's too big, it's too long, it's too high, it's too cumbersome to move around a city like this. Here in the neighborhood it's sort of fine, but as soon as you start introducing other traffic to the equation, it becomes cumbersome. Let's be honest, that's not what this vehicle is for. It is comfortable though. We can go over a few speed humps here, and it is all very civilized, thanks to the suspension in general, but also due to the big rubber that I mentioned on the outside. Having more tire does add to the comfort here on the inside. It is a comfortable car to drive in general because, of course, an electric powertrain is very comfortable to drive with, and this one in particular only has 237 horsepower. Which is not a lot in any EV really, but in a car this weight and size, it's certainly not a lot. But it does mean that you can drive this relatively carefree and not have to worry that if you sneeze and hit the gas pedal a bit too much, you end up in a tree somewhere, like with a 1000 horsepower Tesla, for example. So, it has pros and cons. Obviously, when you put this car on a highway, like we will do in a bit, it's not going to be an overtaking weapon or anything. But in general, I don't think that is why you would buy a vehicle like this. Now, of course, driving this car around town is all possible, but certainly not good for any kind of maneuvering. Although I have to say, sitting here, I have a pretty good view out. The side mirrors are quite large as well. And the view in the rear view mirror is also excellent because of that straight up rear window. So that's nice. Obviously, when you start piling stuff into the truck bed, it's going to be a different story. And the same thing when you have people sitting behind you. But overall, the vision around is great, also aided by the cameras that are actually quite okay as well. What's not so great is the fact that as soon as you have to operate anything in this car, you have to deal with the screen. And I already mentioned it, it is too slow. It's not acceptable anymore in 2026. That needs to be faster. And that is also something that is to be said for the shifter. To go from drive to reverse, for example, takes 2 pushes. Every time you want to change direction, you have to go through the neutral setting. And that is really annoying when you're trying to park, for example, or to just maneuver at low speed, that you constantly have to tap twice in order to change direction. And that is something that has infuriated me the whole week that I've had this car. And all around, I have to say, despite the fact that maneuvering is somewhat tricky due to the size, it is a pleasant driving experience. I'm comfortable, the seats are good, the steering wheel is maybe not the shape that I like, but it is easy to operate. And all around, it is a pleasant vehicle to move around in, kids in the back, stuff in the bed. It's very capable. We can access some driving modes by swiping down. We can go from Eco to Sport mode, which makes no difference because there is simply not enough horsepower to really justify a Sport mode. And we can keep this pressed and go to Winter mode. And then we have permanent 4-wheel drive. When you use the Eco or the Sport mode, then the car sort of figures out if 4-wheel drive is needed, and if so, when and where. So that is sort of a 4-wheel drive on-demand system. But if you want to lock it in, then you can put it into Winter mode. But it is nice that you have the option to sort of lock that in. The big thing that's missing, of course, is any sort of 4-wheel drive hardware, diff locks or any other gubbins like that. That is simply unavailable in this car, further sort of cementing the idea that this is not a true crazy terrain conquering off-road car, but more something for a little bit more than regular street use. Here in the back of the Musso there is quite a lot of space, but it is quite low to get in. Watch my head. I really have to duck with my 1.83 meters to get in. And once I am in, I have about this much space left for my head. So I can sit here quite comfortably, also in the middle seat. There is all basic creature comforts back here. I have a phone holder up here. I got some seat pockets down there. Although the back of the seat is hard, so that is uncomfortable. But I can sit behind myself quite comfortably with about this much space left. My feet also go under the seat, which is important for comfort, which cannot be said for the middle seat, because there's basically no space left there, because there is a transmission hump and the center console comes in quite a bit. The materials are the same as in the front, so that's good, although it does get a bit gray back here, because there's no panoramic roof all the way till the back, just that small hatch roof in the front. There is some light coming from the back because you have a nice straight up rear window and you have a view of your truck bed, of course. The windows on the doors are also quite small, so that certainly doesn't help. The door itself has the same material as in the front, so the piano black with that fake-ish carbon fiber, and there's a button for the window and a dual switch for your seat heating. So that's something this one in particular has. Some storage down there, some USBs for charging, and a central armrest with some cup holders, and that is all you get back here. Nothing super fancy or anything, but all basics are covered. Then we have to talk charging and battery. We have 81 kilowatt hours and the charge port is here on the front. 11 kilowatts at home, 150 fast charging, so you will. So that is the statistics that you have to deal with. 150 is not a lot, that is average at best these days, but I don't think this is necessarily a vehicle that you're going to have on many road trips or anything. The 81 kilowatt hour battery sounds pretty good, and it is, but it's big, heavy and square, so it's not an aerodynamic wonder. In my week of testing, 25, 26 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, something like that. So with 81 kilowatt hours, you're gonna have 300-ish, 350 of range. Meanwhile, we have arrived on the highway where, of course, we have a bit more space to deal with the physical size of this car, which is nice, and the car feels relatively at home here. It's quiet in here despite the size of the vehicle and the shape of the vehicle as well. And it is all around a good cruiser. I'm comfortable here, like I said, a good view out, so yeah, nothing going wrong here really. If you are a regular viewer of this channel, and if you are the expert audience that I think you are, you can probably predict what happens with a car this size and only 240 horsepower. It's all fine, but that is basically the extent of it. In no way are you going to use this vehicle for crazy overtaking on the left side in Germany. Not happening, simply not enough grunt for that. And it also doesn't really matter if you put it in Eco Sport or that winter setting. It's all roughly the same out here. But cruising is fine. Like now we're doing 114 kilometers an hour and all is well in the world. Got the seat heating on, got the steering wheel heating on because it is still early February and it is a pleasant way to travel. Traveling you won't do very far though, like I mentioned on the outside already, 81 kilowatt hour battery, but thanks to the size, weight and shape of this vehicle, it is not the most efficient through the air, so you can expect 25, 26, 27 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. That is just not good, simply speaking, but you know, what do you expect for a vehicle like this? And with 81 kilowatt hours, you're looking at 300-ish, maybe a little bit more kilometers of range. Obviously, we got to talk prices for this KGM Musso EV. There's two options, two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive. The two-wheel drive starts at 35,500 euros here in the Netherlands for a claimed range of 420 kilometers and a power output of 207 horsepower. This one that we're in is the four-wheel drive version. That starts at 39,000. You get a bit more power, 237, but you get less range at 379. And both have the same 81 kilowatt hour battery. Then there are some trim levels, bronze, platinum, titanium and black line. The black line being the top tier where you get some leather, the electric roof and so on. And then there's some extras like a roll cover, heat pump and so on if you want to spec it even further. Then we get to towing, which is an important one to note. Early 2026, this car will get an update. The one that we're in is not the updated one. The update means you get a stronger electric motor and a higher tow weight. So the one that we're in is the old spec, 1800 kilo tow weight, which is very nice, but the new one will have 2300 kilograms of towing weight. So that is a lot more. And if you buy this car for towing horse boxes or living on a farm, then that is something you have to keep in mind. Which actually brings us to an interesting point in the video to answer the question, who is this car for? So let's check down the list. It's an EV, so it's for the EV driver. It's a pickup, so it's for somebody who likes this shape and form factor, either just because he thinks it's cool or because he functionally wants to do something with that truck bed. It's also distinctly not Chinese. There's people that have opinions about that. It's Korean. It's also distinctly not American, because there's people that have opinions about that too. Then there's also the fact that it's four-wheel drive, but not a true off-roader. I know there's no diff settings or anything, so it's not like a Toyota Hilux, for example, but if you get this four-wheel drive version, it's certainly capable of some off-roading if you put some proper tires on it. And last but certainly not least is the towing capabilities. This one, as it sits here, 1800 kilograms, but the updated one, 2300. And that is a lot. And I think that is the key here, because that automatically makes me think of people with a horse and a big horse box to pull, maybe a boat or a jet ski or maybe some kind of hobby off-road motorcycle situation. Those people that might not want to cross the whole country in their car with the trailer, but have to go from their house to the horse stables to the forest, or from their house to the storage to pick up the boat and then to the marina. Those kind of people, I think this is a very suitable vehicle for. Because you can do that nice and quietly, electrically, with all the torque that is available, and you don't have your smoking diesel at the marina disturbing everybody's peace. You can have that towing capability and still throw all your other junk for your horse or for your boat or whatever it might be in the back. And then you still sit here and you have a nice luxury experience. And on the outside, it's not one of those huge, in-your-face, over-the-top American trucks. So I think if you add all those things up, it's certainly for those people, this would be a very suitable vehicle. Now, granted, that is a very specific niche, but you know, those people exist and those people buy cars. So why not? And that's all I got for you in this video. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments as well if you want more videos from this form factor, like alternative cars, and if you want to see more from KGM, because they have a whole bunch of other cars, some SUVs, some crossovers, so I can review those too if you want, but if you don't, then obviously that's good to know for me as well. So let me know in the comments below if you want to see more from this Korean manufacturer. For now, thank you very much for watching. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and I'll catch you guys again in the next video. Cheers!